I'm fine.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV. We are here at the Stadium of Light. Big time boxing returns to Sunderland after many, many years. Kalle, how are you?
Well, great to be in Sunderland, the North East, special boxing place. The more I come up here, the more I see great talents. Always great events up here. You know, going to be a sold-out crowd Saturday night, live on DAZN, 7 p.m. UK time. Tune in. Stacked card, yeah. Looking really forward to it.
Change your opponent. It's now Ramirez. Was the show ever in jeopardy?
No, it was far enough out, you know, to find someone. You've also got to find someone for the main event who's been in training for another fight. Luckily we found and Adam and Josh accepted and the opponent accepted because Colombian bangers have a bit of a history of causing the occasional upset over here, don't they? Ask Amir Khan, rolling back a few years now, but you know, the kid can punch. He's got, I think, a 95% KO ratio. Bit of a crowd pleaser as well. We'll go watch his last fight. Interesting ending on that one.
That was really strange for anyone who don't see it. He kind of got mobbed, I think. Yeah.
Right, and I thought it was in South America, but it was in Albania. So, go check out the opponent, Ramirez. Check him out on YouTube and watch that clip. We will not have something like that on Saturday night in Sunderland.
Sunderland and Newcastle fans, if anything, won't it?
We've got some great security. There won't be any of that on Saturday night.
I think up there you described Wasserman, yourself and Issa as a bit of a boutique. You carefully select your talent. That being said, you got Dan and Tom up there. They come to mind. So really exciting prospects coming through.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had Dan Howard and Tom Welland out last month. They're out again. Fantastic to see. Young talent coming through. I think we signed 6-7 young people this year. So I mean, it's not small, but I like to think of us a little bit as boutique. We don't, just sign everyone. And, we look at exactly what we're signing, and sometimes we give trial contracts, and these two are on long-term permanent. So that's great, and it's looking forward to that road, to that adventure.
Certainly, and you did mention big fights for 2024 for Josh Kelly, providing he comes past Ramirez. You went on the side of the big domestic dust-ups. I think Eubank's name was mentioned, Kell Brook, Conor Benn. Are those genuine fights you're looking at next?
I think that, Josh is number one in the world, WBO number one. He's gonna have that called, that mandatory will be called. We'll be pushing for that as well. But at the same time, you've got to look at the scene in the UK at the moment. And let's face it, this year's seen two pay-per-views in the UK. Actually promoted in the UK, I think. I don't think I'm mistaken on that. 2 UK pay-per-views, pretty sure. We promoted both of them. We want to do a big fight with Josh in the UK. Whether that's a world title, of course that's great. But at the same time, for Josh at this stage in his career, a big fight against those names around that division, around the middleweight division, junior middleweight or super welter, whichever way you want to look at it. Some great fights, Like I said, Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr, Kell Brook returning. There's others as well. Florian Marku, also an interesting fight. Those are all very interesting, along with the world title. So it's good. Josh is in a great position there. So it's going to be an interesting 2024. But we've got to get it past Saturday night first.
Certainly have, and out of those names, the one kind of springs to mind is Eubank Jr, because you do represent him as well. If you spoke to Adam next year, would Josh Kelly move up to 160 for that fight?
Yeah, he'd definitely move up to 160 for that fight. I mean, Josh is still relatively young. I do see him eventually as a 160 fighter, full stop. But yeah, no. Around that weight, 100% that fight can be made at 160, and that's something that of course is interesting. All domestic blockbusters are interesting. I'm sure you're going to ask me a few questions on a couple of other domestic blockbusters. But let's face it, when you know both the opponents that well, or the both men in the ring that well, whether you're the media, the public, the promoters, the boxers, it always spices it up. Whether it's at British level or at world level, always adds that extra ingredient.
Yeah, you kind of read my mind where we are going next, and I'm sure you know. But over the past 2 days, Eddie Hearn has done a few interviews doubtful over the Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. fight. He kind of went from absolutely dead cert, it's happening before Christmas, to, OK, it's happening Feb 3rd, to, OK, it might not happen at all now. What is going on from your side of it?
We didn't make it. Simple as that. We couldn't make it commercially work. And there's not really much else to say. We've moved on. I think you saw the news yesterday. The IBO ordered him to face the champ. 19-0 undefeated. It's a tough fight. IBO World Championship. So that we've got enter negotiations on. We couldn't quite make it work commercially, unfortunately.
So you're confirming now that fight is dead in the water for Feb 3rd and for the foreseeable future?
That fight is, as I stand here now, absolutely dead in the water.
Was it all kind of from Chris Eubank Jr.'s side, your side? Because that's the way Eddie's kind of portraying it.
I'm not going to go into what it was. It was a commercial discussion. I'll leave it at that.
Yep. But no matter what, that fight is still so big, so it can be re-looked at in the future?
This is boxing, Of course, anything can happen in the future. Just as I stand here right now, it's dead in the water. But, of course, it's one that, I think will happen in the future. I think they'll both go on. Obviously, I think Conor wants a big fight. So Jared Ennis mentioned in the media, but that's their business. We know now the path that lays before Junior, and then we'll deal with it from there. And that's something that Junior and his team have to look at in the future if they want to go down that path. But I can only look at it right now. And for what I'm responsible for, and that's the next fight. So we have to look at that.
Just last one on this. Were you shocked that the fight didn't come off?
No, because big fights sometimes don't come off. Not really much else to say to it. I think a lot of people jump the gun on it. But again, it is what it is. And we move on.
Certainly will. We'll move on to next week. Will you be flying out to Saudi Arabia to represent Lyndon Arthur?
No, my brother is flying out with Lyndon. But that's a fight he will. I think he'll win. And I know you're looking at me like I'm mad, but
no, I'm not. No,
I'm telling you, I saw Bivol in lockdown fight Craig Richards. He looked terrible, and I think Bivol's a fantastic boxer, great champion. Don't get me wrong, but I also think he's already looking at the Beterbiev fight, and in fact, I've even heard whispers that fight's made. Now, if he's looking at Lyndon Arthur as someone who's coming for a payday and thinking, whatever, nah, mate, that's not going to happen. He's going over there for an absolute tear. I think the difference between him and Craig Richards, who couldn't capitalise on that night, is that Lyndon can bang and really bang, and I think that's the part. He's been in big domestic fights. Lyndon, Anthony Yard won one, lost one, top level. We saw Yard pushed Beterbiev, so we can see that the levels there. Lyndon ain't going to be fazed by nothing. We're coming home with a goal for Christmas.
Do you think genuinely that Lyndon can go out to Saudi Arabia amongst all those stars? No, I don't. Do you think he can go out amongst them stars and come back as a star himself?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's really a star in Manchester. He's already done 2 million viewers on Channel 5, to get that in there. But this is a massive stage. I mean, this Day of Reckoning, this show is fantastic. You know, it's like, I'm looking forward. That is my Christmas made. In fact, I might move Christmas to the 23rd because it is a Christmas present for all the boxing fans. There's like, I look at the card and I always forget one fight. I'm like, I forgot that was on there. So it's lovely, it's amazing, it's great for boxing, but at the same time, Lyndon Arthur's going over there to wreck the plans of Beterbiev Bivol. That's we're the Grinch. We turn up. Lyndon is going to be the Grinch.
I like it. We'll move on to the other side of your promotional tools, Misfits. Yes. You did say you've done 5 pay-per-views up there this year, and I think 3 of them have been Misfits and KSI.
I like the way, Joe, you could be a great lawyer. The way you take snippets of information and work it out. Yes, but I wasn't lying. We have done 5 UK pay-per-views this year. I'd say we've done a couple of million buys this year. So it's been a fantastic year for Wasserman Boxing, also Misfits, of course. And what was the question?
Just saying, what's happening with Misfits, mate? You just wanted to dig me out for being a lawyer, like.
I wanted to brag a bit, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
No, look. It's been a wild one this year, hasn't it? Yeah. If I look back, it feels like there's been more in it than 1 year. Like if I go back to January, KSI faced Temper. We kicked the year off the second week of January with a pay-per-view. So, yeah, and then with Eubank Jr, of course, the first Smith fight didn't quite go our way. The second one certainly did. Sandwiched in between that was a bit of Joe Fournier, and ending the year with a big prime card. And obviously, the Fury fight, the decision we still don't agree with, but that's something that's going on behind closed doors at the moment. But at the end, what an event it was, and I think, if we can look back very proudly of what Misfits has achieved as a brand and in terms of reaching new fans and providing a lot of entertainment over this year.
Moving forward then, I know there's a big show being announced very soon, involving a very, very big name. Can you tell it anything on that?
Yeah, I can give you a little sneak peek. Because if it was Coogan, I wouldn't do this. But it's you, so I'm going to give it to you. No, we get no. It's hiding this week. 20th of January, Leeds. The rest, stay tuned. Big, huge signing in this space for Misfits. Absolutely massive. Watch this space over the next few days. Absolutely huge Misfits signing. Someone we're really excited about. What else can I can?
Is the show going to be a pay-per-view?
No.
That's good. That's good value.
Zone. Not pay-per-view. We're going to start the year with a bang. We want as many people to witness the first show of the year because it's going to lead to a massive year. We're looking at doing probably 2 prime cards next year. A lot of events. We're going to be travelling to places. We're talking about finalising Brazil for March at the moment. A lot of exciting stuff, man. If you think last year was big. This year was huge. Next year for Misfits, monstrous.
What happened to Ibiza?
Yeah, that's.
Come on, everyone wants it.
Well, we've got a site visit. I love a site visit to Ibiza. I've never gone on site visits, but I go to the Ibiza ones. It's a little bit. This year was because of the focus on the prime card. We manpower wise. So we're now bigger and bigger team at Misfits. Don't forget, this is a little start-up company that started 14 months ago, or 16 months ago now. But, you know, as I said, we've done 3 pay-per-views with Misfits this year, including probably, well, number-wise, the biggest show of the year in Manchester on October the 14th.
Have you been shocked? You mentioned it was a start-up company 14 months ago. You know how big KSI is, but have you been shocked at just the scale Misfits have got to?
And this is what something that KSI very much wanted to do. He wanted to make this a space. This wasn't about him. You know, he's obviously the main shareholder of the brand Misfits, but it's not primarily about him. It's about a space, and that, of course he boxes on the Misfits platform. It's his platform. But it was about leaving a legacy, and that's something that I think, you know, we're all very proud of in this space. You know, and you know, I can hear the traditional rumbles right now.
What is that? Who's that an impression of?
I'm making an impression of the traditionalist now, saying, what's he fucking talking about? So, no, I can hear the rumbles. But the amount of young kids who are now watching boxing, and I know they're going to then say, oh, well, they're watching like this porn star and that and this, and, you know, their kick-off on the stage is terrible image for the young kids. We can argue about that, but at the same time, they're watching boxing, yes, at often a very novice level, but they're attracted to the sport of boxing. They're more likely to tune in to Kenny Ramirez this weekend on the Zone because they're on that platform because of Misfits. Yeah? So we can argue all day long about it. You know, it puts a lot of money back into boxing. Let's put it that way.
Excellent, Kalle. Thank you very much for speaking to IFL TV. What's Black Eye Friday?
Yeah, I found out. I thought it was a wind-up first of all, so I googled it. Yeah, tomorrow night it's Newcastle versus Sunderland on the cobbles. And apparently everyone gets a black eye before Christmas.
Take the camera.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm going to find a very secure curry house with some like bulletproof glass in front of it and sit there, enjoy my tandoori while I'm watching it all go off on the street. Joking. I'm sure it's a wind-up. But yeah, sounds interesting. Black Eye Friday.
Kalle, cheers, mate. Thank you.
I'm fine.